I'm a luge athlete. First off, just clarifying, it is supposed to be on your back, on your sled, feet first. That's not always the case. I had the fortune to go to Europe to represent Canada on the international level. This was my first time racing at that high level, and I was quite a bit younger than my competition. Of course, while in Europe, luging was not always what was done. Sometimes that was done. I had quite a few of those. Sightseeing, outdoors, Europe, it's one of the greatest places to do that. But that's not what I was there for. I was there to train, to get better, to represent Canada. After my first 2 international races, 2 Junior World Cups, my results merited me an extra week to stay and compete in the Junior World Championships in Eagles, Austria, which meant that I got to travel to another country. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. In Germany, one of the favorite things we did was walk. We're there for luging. It's 120, 130 kilometers an hour. One of the best things to do was walk around the area, look at the landscape, look at the track, learn where you are, learn what you're doing there. My first race was in Königssee, Germany. This was my first international race, and I was a bit unsure of how things would go, because normally I was competing against maybe 10 or 20 other athletes. Here there was over 50 other athletes competing against me, all of them enormous. They were massive. They towered over me, even the smallest ones, this big. In fact, the only people I was racing against that were close to my own age, my fellow teammates that we'd come over from Canada together. So after my first run, I was in pretty good, 10th place. 10th place, and you're a 14-year-old racing against 17-year-olds. Of course, I didn't quite finish as well as I thought I would in that race. 18th place was a bit of a letdown, actually. I was happy with what I got. First race, first experience. It's always good to get out there and know what you're going to do. Jeez. In the week in Austria, we did a lot of sliding and a lot of watching people slide, because this was the biggest race that anyone my age in luge can aspire to do. The Junior Luge World Championships is quite enormous. There was lots of people, lots of spectators, which you don't really get around here in Whistler. Whistler, the tracks are always bare. There's no one there. It's empty. Maybe a few parents watching their children slide. In Europe, they have food vendors, practically restaurants at the tracks for people, spectators, and they were always crowded, which is quite a different experience because I'm used to just being by myself going down the track. In Europe, every single corner, there's just heads popped into the track watching you go by. And you do go by pretty fast, at 120 to 130 kilometers an hour. Time goes by fast down the track. I'd say one of the hardest things about luge, not actually going down the track, not getting a hard time, but every single time when you're looking down the steep ramp at a start, you pull and you're just gone. You're just plunging in down an icy track, feet first. You got skin-tight spandex suit. That's what you're wearing. You're wearing a spandex suit and maybe some lead, because gravity definitely helps you out. Weight pulls you down the track. I had a lot of times where I was on my back. In fact, in that corner, that's where it happened a lot. That corner was not very nice to me. When I flip in that corner, there's over 50 kilos of weight just sitting on me as I'm sliding down the track in my spandex suit. So back to Eagles, Austria. Anyways, got a bit off topic. This was me racing against Olympians. There was Olympians in that race. They went straight from Eagles, Austria to Sochi. Right after they were done there, Sochi, racing the Olympics. All of my teammates, well, most of my teammates, had not made it to the Junior World Championships. They hadn't qualified for it. And so here I was alone, the only kid born in 1999, or even any age close to that. And I was going from the top of the track. Not to say it was a very hard track, but it's like diving off the top of a diving board when you've only ever been from the bottom one. It's scary at the start, but when you're halfway down, you realize you got nothing better to do than just perform. After my first run, I managed to get 23rd place, which only top 25 got to get their second run. 23rd was a really good position for me. In my second run, that's equals Austria. My second run, I crashed. I fell off my sled, hit a wall, then did a few cartwheels down the track. I don't have any pictures of that, unfortunately, but it was quite the experience and quite fun, actually, to be able. Yeah, there were cameras there. You could see the cameraman smiling at them as I was spinning in circles in the track. This happened in a 270-degree turn, which was the only place that would allow me to get back onto my sled because of it's so long. And so, in the end, I finished 19 seconds behind first place, which I'm not sure if you know how much that is, but that's quite a bit of time in luge. So it was like first place, second place, third place, all the way, and it's like 25th, you're 17 seconds behind 24th. All those crashes, my rough year of the first day, only inspired me to push harder, to do better, and to train as much as I could. That's it.
Where were you more nervous, giving this talk or sliding in Austria?
To be honest, giving this talk.